Hey, wowzer. It is it is a beautiful summery day. It is a beautiful day, but this day is different. Different. The light is different. Okay, guys. I don't know if it's everywhere, but on the day's side of the realm, I swear to you, the daylight. I'm saying the daylight, not the sun, because I keep looking at it and it doesn't. It seems like it's about the same. I mean, honestly, it kind of feels like it's gone back to yellow, like welcome to the '90s, like hue, right? Because I kind of gather that decades. Um, Sorry, hold on a second. That decades kind of have a hue to it. You know, granted, film and photo technology changes and improves and stuff, but there's something to be said because 35 millimeter film is 35 millimeter film. We still use it today as a analog film standard, right? It's usually for photographers, for professional photographers, often with digital assistance. It's kind of the way that movies are made, is they're kind of double shot. There's a digital version of a movie and a 35 or 60 millimeter, whatever IMAX is, right? Film. And then they do all their fucking play work on the digital. And then once they've set the digital the way they like it, they replicate it once on the 35 millimeter, right? If they make an edit, they make the edit in the digital, then they go and then they track the frame to its equal counterpart on the timeline, and they cut it also, right? So to me, it's very obvious. It's the ambient, like, just whatever is making light happen. I think even at night, something about it, even though it's not the sun. But I had to travel a lot yesterday, right? After the eclipse, things felt very interesting. I would say that probably the light kind of was the same after the eclipse. Um, I didn't try and think about it too much because of the graduation process of going from light to dark and then dark to light. Um, but effectively, I'm saying that there's definitely a new vibe, and it's completely it's just a vibe. Every like nobody's behaving oddly or anything like that. I'm just I just feel it. I just feel it. Granted, I did fucking ritual. Maybe if I didn't do ritual, so maybe it's just me. Maybe I have a different relationship now with light. I don't know. I don't know. Could be that, right? That could be what's happening with everybody, right? It could be an aspect of what happens when you're quote unquote programming yourself, right? Because I don't care what anybody says. I'm ascending. Why? This is my definition of ascension. Look at me do X, Y, and Z things and things get better. You want to argue with me that things aren't getting better, right? and my point is that they're getting better for me personally. And then I cross-examine myself with the existential threats, being very well aware of all of them. And, 2020 was there. The consciousness was at just the right point where, it was a necessary gamble, but they said, okay, we're going to fucking, just say fuck it because they're right. We don't care. We don't care about their happiness whatsoever. Let's see if we can get away with being perpetually evil. And so they did that. They went for the perpetual evil move to test our tolerance threshold. And thus, at that point, me and my wonderfully vivid iMagi Nation sat there and said, wow, they're trying to tell me every fucked up thing you've ever heard about is going to be done now. We're doing it. This is happening in real time. You've been driven into Cthulhu's realm. Welcome to the nightmare. Okay? And just because everything I just said about myself, they had a contingency plan, right? Like, because everybody's just like, oh, don't do that. They got a plan for everything. Go fuck themselves. Just go do. For fuck's sake. Whatever fucking profile that was built for me. They had to have, look, they had enough fucking manpower at some point to have said, like, okay, let's take a look at Revolution Radio. This is my history, right? Revolution Radio is rocking and rolling. Okay. They're growing at an exponential rate. Man, they're swimming in a whole lot of their own happy horse shit. Okay, so let's get a profile on all these guys, because all these guys have brilliant ideas. And we're going to make sure that they get treated a certain way when we let their nightmares come true. We're gonna fulfill their prayers that they are correct, that we are the monsters that we say we are, and scare the fuck out of them. It'll be funny while we get to take over the world, right? And they're the ones that we allow to speak because we like the way that they say that we are evil. That's the evil reputation we want. And so that's the game that they play. And I don't know what fucking profile they would have had on Steve Travesty, now Steve Zerolath. And they certainly would have heard of me because in fits of I'm Not Afraid, I've said Stephen Purdy, like I just did right now. I don't care what you think about what it means to know somebody's fucking legal name. The name that my parents gave me at birth is not the name etched in my heart. It is just the name that my parents call me by and have registered me with the state as. Alright, that's all that means for anybody. The rest gets into the private details of my family, which are none of your fucking business. But the point is that the system ran a gauntlet, and they had a very complicated contingency for us variants, or errants, as some call us. The little special ones, the Neos, the Trinities, all you rogue actors in the narrative. And that's all you are, rogue actors in the narrative, right? And they want to make your speech feel criminal. They want to make your speech feel criminal, because that's the psychic charge that enforces their will, right? Is the ingrown belief that you are out of order in the way that is good and correct and safe in the world, and only people groomed to our values can express themselves, because we will prune anything from your lips that we do not care for. Oh man, let me get that download. Ooh. See, what I find funny about the whole "don't look at the eclipse," it's just like, okay, first off, it seems like different people have different kinds of eyes. And so or eyes that have been conditioned, right? And so what did I just do? I just leaned my head back with my eyes closed and just absorbed through the eyelids. And then for just a moment, I opened my eyes to look at the sun, and then I just pointed down, just like that. That would have hurt a lot if I kept going. But I've done that many times, many times. So I have a little bit of a threshold. So my other point here is that, you know, these goofy 3D glasses, you know, they look like 3D glasses that they give you. You're gonna need that to even see anything about the eclipse happening, right? Because you're gonna get all that glare, and it'll just be like the sun's dimming, but that's it. It just looks like the sun dimming, which is wild. But to actually have a nice clear view of the object, I mean, before the clouds showed up, it was very cool getting that's the first time I have ever done that. It's like, oh my god, yes, I see it, right? It felt so good to really have at least 75% of a first-hand experience of an eclipse. Sadly, the big part, but what all the other footage showing me it's like, dude, it just moves slowly and it just keeps moving in, but then once it hits totality, it sticks with totality for for quite a hot second, right? You'll see the ring of fire will be there, and it'll just be hanging out as a ring of fire, just like that. That's it, just hanging out as a ring of fire. It's not very long, but it is a stop. It is a stop. It stops. Or it's or somehow, I mean, I get it. They're going to say, oh, there's an optical illusion, and, things are not moving that fast in the first place, and... Yeah, but the thing is that it's still, it's like, what is it? It's an overcoming, right? And so then it's going to hold for, well, hold on a second, it would be this way, right? So then it's going to hold here for... like that. That's what you're looking at. It's gonna hold it for I don't know. It would be maybe 5 seconds. It's gonna hold it. But the way it rolls in, it's much more like a lens block. It's more like a disc that you put on, like a lens protector for a scope. That's what it looks like when it moves over the sun. And at the end of the day, it's the only thing other than clouds that ever happens that blocks out the sun, so we get all wild about it. I wonder, what is the baseline celebration for the normie. That's just like, oh, it's so cool. It's just like there's not, eh, nobody's encouraged to go deep, and it's just like, what are you gonna do? It takes putting someone through a lot of bullshit, to kind of make them realize that the way up and out that you actually need is to do shadow work, right? Somebody who's going to be well adjusted or have most of their situation together or whatever, like, they're not going to ever need to do shadow work. They're going to fall right into a certain way and attitude. You know, they've got their group approval, they got their world works and figured out. You know, they're not worried about it. They are perfectly comfortable living in accordance to a place that they belong and their role in the place that they belong. Even to be just a cog in the machine just because it's so nice, it's so kind, it's so loving, and all that stuff. And there's just a rudeness to breaking that world that's baked into the cake that makes it hard to do this, right? And when those people are put into authority, which they are going to be put into authority because that's just part of a large swath of collective minds, you know, politicians as such. When applied pressure, they're going to do in accordance to those values. I think there's a lot of politicians that they just don't want to know because they know once they find out that they got to do something about it. You know, it's kind of like how, like, your mom and dad turn a blind eye to something bad that you're doing because you know, it's just that quiet, I'm doing a good parenting job by letting my kid have this thing I hate that they do, right? You know, for me, it was things like this. Well, actually, that's kind of a lie because I didn't do this until I was a young man, and I already had other problems which put me there. I mean, yeah, like, for no other reason than believing propaganda did I be all Christian Puritan about cannabis and alcohol. So I was a gluttonous but clean kid, and that's the norm, right? It's just like they'll rack on you all day about whatever you smoke, whatever you drink, whatever you're jerking off to, but they don't give a fuck about what you're eating. It's almost like your church is sponsored by Pringles and Twinkies and Pepsi Cola. But the problem is then the church doesn't know how to fucking balance itself, and it goes into a polarity, and it starts going ragging evil against it. Who do I got here? Ooh, this is getting hot. Brazil Marines. Good afternoon. Greetings from Amazon rainforest jungle. Wow. Kick ass, man. How'd you find me? Are you an American Brazilian in the Amazon rainforest, or does Brazil have its own Marine Corps and you're Brazilian Marine Corps? How'd you find me? I want to know. Whenever I meet new people, because I'm not even 200 subs yet. So, you know, it takes a long while before a YouTuber loses intimacy with a crowd, and I'm a slow burn. So get to know me. The perks of getting to know a D-level YouTube content maker. Oh my god. If you're even still here. Because I think you left that message a hot minute ago. Because I don't waste my time getting right on top of fucking most current events, I like to come out with things in their own time as a reflection. So I'm much happier distributing raw wisdom. You know what I mean? And let's see. I'm going to see Heilung on the 15th in Hartford. I am fucking excited. I got the day off the next day. Half day the day of, so I can get my drive on up there. So yeah. Oh yeah, it's good pagan month. All right. Let me just check this message one more time. Alrighty. Well, Brazil Marines, thanks for being here. And we will hold on a second. Yeah. What is that? What is going on? What is that? Whoop, sorry. Alright, anyway. See ya.